Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sounds of 505, or welcome back for a lovely viewer. My name's Nick, uh, returning to this awesome series. Here's Scott from Sound Lab Studios.
Scott's
Um,
Records 90125. Scrap Dog
uh,
Scott's Records.
uh, Christine's not here, aka Bryer. And joining us for these next 6 albums we're reviewing is Jason the Old Millennial.
Yes, Jason is on the bandwagon for the Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
He's been joining us for all the good all the good Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks albums.
I'm on the bandwagon for Nicks and Buckingham. Yeah.
Once after Tango and Night, it's just gonna be the three of us again.
Yeah, I don't think you want to waste your time with those albums.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, he's gonna listen to it anyway, so he could do his deep dive at the end.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't want to have to join us for the reviews. It's not worth it. Today we're actually taking a little detour from Fleetwood Mac. Actually, we're gonna be reviewing an album that actually got the band that got Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks on the band in the first place, and that is Buckingham Nicks. Very important album. I feel like this is an album we should review. And I was talking to Bryer and Scott before the stream began, and we're including this on the ranking. So now it's 20 albums we're ranking at the end. So it's gonna be fun. Anything you guys want to say before we start reviewing this album?
Yeah, it is criminal that this album has not gotten a proper reissue.
I know. Let's go.
Because listening to this album, you got all of the things that make up Fleetwood Mac in here. We're just missing Christine, Mick, and John. Like, that's all we're missing from this album. It's like you got half the magic here on this album. You got the other half that you can hear on the Heroes Are Hard to Find and Mystery to Me albums. And like all they gotta do is just meet each other, and then you're gonna have something amazing.
I might make a playlist. I might make a playlist of like the songs that Buckingham Nicks did and Christine McVie did on the Bob Welch stuff, and like a custom Fleetwood Mac album.
That would be cool. Yeah, and throw in some Bobs too.
Yeah, it'd be like all the great members.
That'd be really cool. But man, hearing that this album was kind of a commercial failure makes me upset, as well as just knowing that it's really difficult to be able to hear this album when clearly this is a very good album. This is making me a little upset here. Like people need to hear this, especially needs to be preserved just because of the importance it has in Fleetwood Mac's history.
Definitely.
They didn't just show up one day.
Yeah, no CD release and no digital. It's not on any digital platform. It's just strange to me.
And the records are expensive.
I would say you can only buy it probably on vinyl, and that's probably really hard to find. So your best chance is YouTube, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the records are super expensive, and it's also hard to find than Heroes. Okay.
So, Christine, you have any?
Bad pun. But...
So, Christine, you have any background information?
Yep, I actually did.
Oh.
So I'm going all the way back. Well, not saying when they were born and stuff like that. We'd be here forever, but.
So when a mother likes a daddy.
Yes, no. It's not that type of class. But so Stevie and Lindsey actually met in high school. They met in Atherton, California, which is kind of south of California.
Okay.
South of San Francisco. Okay. And funny enough, Stevie was actually a grade higher than Lindsey. But they kind of met because they got together in one kind of music class, I think. And they end up getting paired up. They sung together, and they actually really enjoyed what they sounded like. But it took them a bit before they actually joined a band. And that band was called Fritz. And I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but apparently Fritz actually opened for a lot of pretty big artists like Janis Joplin, Grace Slick, even Jimi Hendrix at one point. So they were getting somewhere. But the band broke up in 1971, and so there's just Stevie and Lindsay on their own. And it's kind of around this time they started dating, started going out, and they moved to Los Angeles to see if they can make it on their own. And they kind of worked just odd jobs around, just trying to get by. And along the way, they met another producer, and that producer is Keith Olsen. And with Keith's help, they were able to record an album together. And of course, that is the album we're reviewing right now. And we kind of already mentioned it. It sold poorly. It was a commercial flop. Didn't chart. Nothing. It was pretty much was dead not long after it came out. And of course, with Lindsay and Stevie, now they're kind of like, okay, now what do we do? And so for the next few years, they were kind of scraping by until 1975, when that will change. But we'll get to that when we get to the next episode. But that's pretty much all the background info here. We kind of sort of do these every episode, every once in a while, but we do talk about the album covers. I don't know. What do you guys think of it? The album cover?
Put a shirt on.
Yes.
Stevie Nicks is a babe, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the greatest cover ever, because Lindsay's trying way too hard to be sexy, and Stevie just looks confused.
Yeah.
She's like, "What are you doing?"
Yes, I read that Stevie hated doing this cover because she actually had a whole outfit planned out, but they told her to take it off, and she was like, "What the heck?" And so that caused a whole argument. Lindsay and Stevie got into a huge argument, and a bit of foreshadowing what's to come with them later. But again, we'll get to that later. But other than that, that's all the background info there.
I mean, it definitely is an eye opener. I don't know what the word is, but you definitely, when I look at it, I'm like, oh, like, what's going on here?
I could just imagine her wearing the outfit, and then like Buckingham like coming like naked, and it was like.
That's actually what are you doing? That's actually kind of how it went.
Like I could just imagine being there and like her being like, what are you doing? He's like,
Where's your
doing the album cover.
This is art.
He's like, we're doing it naked.
No. He comes in. She laughs at me. And just goes, "It's not that funny, is it? Huh? That could be a song. Jot that down."
Jot that down.
So like, it's what made me really want to review this album is because of how important it is to them becoming members of the band, and I personally really enjoyed the music on it, and I knew Bryer was going to mention it would have just been just the brief like thing he would have mentioned while talking about the history of 75, the album, but I feel like it should be talked about more than just like briefly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the album's a lot more important than just that. So,
I mean, you guys heard the album before? Like, I never heard of this before.
I didn't. I knew of it, but I didn't hear it up to this point.
I listened to it during my original Fleetwood Mac deep dive that I did in the fall of last year, and I liked it all right. Definitely liked it even better the second time around, but I will save my deep thoughts for the review proper.
Yeah, like I was listening to this album like a couple of months ago, and I'm like, yeah, I know when Bryer does his information for Fleetwood Mac self-titled, like the second self-titled, I know it's probably going to go like this. It'll probably be like, yeah, they released an album, and then Big Fleetwood heard it, and the rest is history. But like, again, I feel like the album's a lot more than just just a shout out.
They just wanted Buckingham pretty much because they need a guitar player. And it's like, well, Stevie Nicks has to join too. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good 2-for-1 like deal.
Yeah.
Buckingham and Nicks, like, yeah.
I view it like football where it's like we trade off Bob leaves the band, but in return we get Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah, it's not a bad
2-for-1.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what the band would be like if she wasn't in the band.
And before him with we trade off Jeremy Spencer for Bob Welch.
Yeah, trading Jeremy Spencer for Bob Welch was.
That's a good
I thought that was a good trade.
we'll trade Bob Welch and a first round pick for. We'll trade Bob Welch and a first hand pick
does
for.
Does that mean by proxy that they traded Jeremy Spencer for Buckingham and Nix? Since they traded Spencer for Welch and Welch for Buckingham and Nix, that means technically they traded Spencer for Buckingham and Nix.
Like we'll trade Jeremy Spencer and a first round pick for Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks.
Well, better than the Phil Collins trade with what's his name?
Oh, I don't even know the guy's name.
I don't know the guy's name.
Some trade-offs don't work, you know.
That trade,
No.
I mean, it's like, we'll trade Graham Nash and the fourth round pick for Terry Sylvester.
right.
Come on, you were destined to go to the Music Bowl. Bad joke.
Poor Genesis didn't even get a trade, but Phil's
Phil
like,
Collins,
you know what?
like,
I'll just step up and do it.
Phil Collins was like the Mahomes of Genesis. Made them into something amazing. And then it's like going from Mahomes to I don't know, like a crappy quarterback.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get into the music though. First song on the album is "Crying in the Night."
So, first off, we're starting off with a Stevie song. So, Steve, this is one that she wrote, and pretty much off the bat, you can kind of hear what Fleetwood Mac would become later on, because it definitely has that sound to it, and it comes down to production as well. Of course, Keith Olsen would also produce the self-titled "The White Album," but yeah, it's like great sound of acoustic guitars. The playing on here is really great throughout this whole album, and even some nice textures with the electric guitar. The chorus is pretty good as well. Just sets the tone very nicely. I think it's a nice opening track. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this song is amazing. If you need any kind of proof as to why this album needs to be reissued, look no further than the first track. It sounds like a outtake from I know it came out first, but one who doesn't know would probably think it was an outtake from the self-titled album. It's amazing. Stevie Nicks is singing here. Her voice, which we're going to mention a lot, is amazing. I really like how she has several overdubs of her voice. And that's kind of what I like about this era of the band is the production choices seem to be a little bit, or in some cases, a lot smarter than some of the early Fleetwood. Early Fleetwood Mac is more raw, like in the studio, especially if you get the early stuff with Peter Green. It's like we're just going to lay it down with the guitar, minimal overdubs. We got Mick and John, and then maybe we'll have Christine come in and play some piano and put some horns if it's Mr. Wonderful. But then you get to this. I hear lots of Stevie Nicks voices, and I hear several different Lindsey Buckingham guitar parts. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I hear at least 2 acoustic guitar parts and an electric guitar part in there. It kind of gives the illusion of a wall of guitars to paraphrase Phil Spector.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the same thought when I got to the song. It's I thought this sounds like Fleetwood Mac. This could be. If you told me this was a Fleetwood Mac, I would believe you. I was like, oh, I didn't know it was just a Buckingham Nicks album. And there's a couple of songs here that I even on the album I kind of felt like these sound like future songs. There's some sound to it that it reminded me of some future songs or something. So it's kind of interesting. Get into it and I think Nicks and Buckingham sound great together. To me, the best part of the album is whenever they're singing. And it happens quite a bit, especially on choruses. It seems like Nicks, maybe or we'll sing the verse or something. Then when they come in on the chorus, that's where I'm like, man, this is really good. This is my kind of album. I love a good duet album with 2 really good voices coming together. And the harmonies were, I think, just really great. I thought there was really good melody, and I just really loved the chorus on this one. So yeah, it was a really good opener.
That's especially what I like about this upcoming iteration of the band is just 3 songwriters who have very different sounding songs, but yet they work together.
great
back
together.
to back hearing Lindsay songs and Stevie songs and Christine's songs, like
Yeah.
it just works so well in the album. It gives you a very good variety on the album, but also cohesive sound. Like some of the early records, like let's take for example Kiln House. Jeremy Spencer's songs stick out like a sore thumb. You got Danny Kerwin doing his cool kind of trippy like neo-psychedelic stuff, and then you got Jeremy Spencer doing stupid 50s parodies. It's like, this is not a cohesive sounding album. Put on like this I lost my train of thought. This is the self-titled album, Rumors, like it's a cohesive sound. Now I know they kind of break that when they did Tusk, but that's because they did something experimental, and we'll save that for when we get to Tusk. Yeah. But most of the albums in the Buckingham Nicks lineup are very like cohesive sounding.
That and also the Bob Welch era stuff too is very cohesive. That's why I love why I love Welch's era and Lindsey Buckingham's era is because like the albums are really cohesive. Like
the albums have better visions.
Yes.
Like I don't want to listen to this amazing July Judy song and then got to listen to stupid Blood on the Tracks and Hi Ho Silver.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this track. Great way to start off the album. Great like first impression for Stevie Nicks. It's definitely up there with songs like Rhiannon and Dreams. That's how much I like it. It's really, really good. One of my favorites off this album. Next track on the album is Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah.
Fun fact, that's actually Stevie Nicks' full name. That's Stevie Nicks. Stevie it's a nickname for Stephanie.
Mm-hmm. Just short.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a nice little Lindsay acoustic guitar number. I didn't have much to say on it. It's just pretty. It's very nice. Yeah, and you know, Lindsey Buckingham always really good with his like acoustic guitar playing. But it was short and sweet. It was nice.
Man, people might hate me for saying this, but I seriously do think that Lindsey Buckingham was the best guitar player that Fleetwood Mac ever had. Like some of the stuff he does is just very, very smart, especially like with the the production choices that they choose, like the way that they put his guitar, the way they can make it sound is really good, especially like when he plays the acoustic guitar. Like we'll get to that when we get to Never Going Back Again, but like I've heard that like he has a specific sound that he likes, and like he'll work with the engineers and do some crazy stuff until like they'll get it to sound like just like he wants it.
Yeah, I think what sets Lindsey apart from all the other guitarists they've had is that pretty much most of the other guitar players they've had, Bob Welch, even Peter Green to an extent, they're mostly about feel. It's not so much. It's like Lindsey was more on the technical side of things. Like he wanted to show just how technically good he was. And then again, like I said, the other guitars, they're about just adding atmosphere, pretty much.
This may be jumping ahead too much, but my favorite example is on the song "Hold Me," which sounds like a simple pop song, but you get to the end, and I can almost tell that like Lindsey Buckingham was maybe bored at those sessions because he just starts going crazy at the end. It's like, dude, did you just get tired of the song and just wanted to just like noodle around or something? We'll get to that song when we get to Mirage.
Yeah, I really like Lindsey Buckingham's acoustic guitar playing throughout the whole album. I think is really fantastic, and that's really what kind of, to me, it's almost more of an acoustic. There's electric guitar, but it almost felt like more of a, I don't know if this was be called like a folk rock album, somewhere in that era, you know, that I really like. It's my kind of album. And of course, Stephanie is my wife's name, so I kind of like the song already. As soon as I got to it, I was like, oh, I like this. Except my wife's name spelled differently, but still, I'm like, oh, Stephanie, that's cool. And I thought it was a really good acoustic, instrumental. Like, I was kind of into it, even though I'm not usually into instrumentals. As far as that goes, I thought, it was really nice.
I thought this instrumental was amazing. Just great way to introduce me to Lindsey Buckingham. Got a great Stevie Nicks song, and then you got a great Lindsey Buckingham instrumental. Really good. Next track on the album is "Without Leg to Stand On." Without a leg to stand on.
We got more of the guitar, the wall of. I'll just call it the wall of guitars. more wall of guitars production on this one. I hear a 12-string on this one. I think. And the 12-string is what you can hear the loudest, but there's like I think there might be a 6-string as well, and an electric kind of farther back in the mix. But this is where we get Lindsey Buckingham singing for the first time. And I actually think he's a good singer as well. He's an amazing guitar player, and he's a really good singer as well, and a great songwriter. Mm-hmm. And now he had kind of an ego, but like other than that, he's a triple threat to your band. He's a good singer, a good guitar player, and a good songwriter. And I think this is a pretty good song.
Yeah, this is another good song. This is like another highlight for me. Again, the guitar playing is great. Just like the vibe to it. And I really enjoy the chorus too. I think the chorus is pretty catchy. And Jason would kind of mention it before, but again, you have Stevie providing backing vocals, and then you have the two kind of harmonizing with each other. They sound really great together. But yeah, this is another nice song.
Yeah, I agree. It's another really good song here. We're just 3 songs in. I'm already like, man, I'm really into this album. Like I'm kind of somewhat surprised because I never heard this album before, and I'm thinking, oh, this is just, and it didn't do well, so I'm like, oh, this is probably not that great of an album, and I'm like, oh man, this is going pretty good, you know. And I think it's really catchy. Like this is maybe one of the more catchy pop songs on the album for me. And yeah, and like what Bryer said, I just love the way they sound together when they sing, and yeah, I thought it was a really good song.
This is one of the best songs on the album. This definitely just could have easily been on the self-titled album easily. I'd say that about the rest of the tracks, but this one especially. Like if you add in Mick Fleetwood and John McVie and Christy McVie, you have yourself a perfect Fleetwood Mac song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but yeah, it's another amazing song. Next song on the album is a song that actually would end up being on their next on the Fleetwood Mac album. That's Crystal.
I really like this song. In fact, I'm not the only one, because the other band members must have really liked it too, because they re-recorded it. But it's a very, very different sounding than what would appear on the self-titled album, or a little bit different sounding. But I really enjoy this song. I think it's probably one of the best songs on the album. It's very good to hear Stevie and Lindsey get to harmonize together on this one.
I agree. Mm-hmm. This is an amazing song. I do prefer the Fleetwood Mac version, but this one's
me too.
It's great in its own way, though.
Yeah, I agree. This is kind of interesting because the lyrics were done by Stevie, and Lindsey is doing the lead vocal. I think that's kind of interesting, but of course they harmonize again. Again, I just like the feel of it. Like the acoustic guitars were very nice, and there's even some wind instruments as well, if I heard them correctly. Yeah, it's just another great song, just nice mood.
Okay, so when I said these songs sounds like a Fleetwood Mac song, now you're telling me it is a Fleetwood Mac song. Now I know why. That's why I thought it sounded like a Fleetwood Mac song. I totally forgot it was on the Fleetwood Mac, whatever. Mm-hmm. So now I feel embarrassed. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It's a little slower, I feel like, than the last couple songs, and yet just really beautiful. And the harmonies, again, just some of the best harmonies on the album, I think, and some of the best acoustic guitar playing. Again, I just love the acoustic guitar on this album, and I think this is probably one of the best ones with the acoustic guitar.
Cool. Next song closes out side one of the album. That is Long Distance Winter. winner. I mean,
This is another amazing song. We get Stevie Nicks doing a more up-tempo song. This is very moody and atmospheric. I really enjoy this song.
Yeah, definitely very interesting in terms of musically. It's pretty interesting because the guitars have a much different sound to them. I want to say it almost has like a country flair to it, but still it sounds really nice. And the percussion on here is pretty cool as well. There's like something. It's one of those like things I guess they're brushing against. That's
Weero.
yeah. So I thought it was kind of a nice touch. I kind of liked how it played into it. Again, Stevie once again sounding great on here, and the guitar solo at the very end was another nice little moment there. Definitely get to hear more of an electric stuff from Lindsay. But yeah, this was another highlight for me. I enjoyed this one.
Kind of like maybe almost a Chain precursor.
Yeah.
I feel like Stevie Nicks' voice sounded different here when I was listening to it. Like it didn't sound like she sounds like on Rumors or Fleetwood Mac, and I don't know why I thought that, but I don't know. It didn't have the same sound as Dreams or Rihanna or whatever, or Landslide. So I don't know. It wasn't as strong as I feel like on some of the other albums. But still pretty good song. I think, like I said, still the music is really good. I think the whole arrangement throughout the whole album, I'm going to repeat myself, just the arrangement of the music is really good. And yeah, they're writing really good, I'd say folk pop or some songs that I think work really well.
Yeah, Wikipedia kept it very vague. It just says rock.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's funny. Leave it to Wikipedia to be very descriptive.
Mm.
But anyone can edit, so I can just go in and I can make it say whatever I want. Reggae, children's music.
Yeah.
Dust My Broom. Make it its own genre.
We gotta make that catch on.
The Dust My Broom genre would be like anything that repeats on itself.
Yeah.
So like that Fireman album that me and Scott listened to, that's gonna be part of the Dust My Broom genre.
Oh, I thought Dust My Broom, like you literally get broom just bash things with it. And just record it.
Like literally dust the broom in the
Yeah.
song.
It's funny.
And for the guitar part, you're just smacking the guitar with the broom. You just get what you
And,
get.
yep, you smack it with your right hand, you take the broom, you smack the guitar with the left hand, you take the slide, and you go up to the notes you want.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty good song. Probably one of my least favorites on the album too. It's still really good though. Side 2 opens up with "Don't Let Me Down Again."
This song is amazing as well. Kind of a secondhand news vibes to this one. Great guitar playing on it. More good harmonization from Stevie and Lindsay.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more definitely the more rock-oriented sound. Like it has a nice guitar riff in it. The percussion, the rhythm is much more driving. The drums were very more prominent. I didn't write a whole lot about it, and it just barely missed my top 5. But I still really enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty nice rock song for the album.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really care for this song compared to like the first side. I thought it was really good, and then we get the second side. I don't think it was nearly as good. And yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just I just kind of was like, I think because I really loved the songs before, I was like, got this one. And there's always, I feel like when I get to an album, there always has to be a song that's like, not as good as the other ones. That's just the way it is. Not terrible, just But
yeah, I got one of those.
I could take it or leave it kind of thing.
I think this is a really good song on the album. I wouldn't compare it to Secondhand News, but I think it's a really good song, though. Yeah. Next song on the album is Django.
Okay, so do you know who Django was? This is the only cover on the album. Django, it's a tribute to the original song they covered is a tribute to Django Reinhardt. Django Reinhardt is a very famous guitar player who only had use of 2 fingers. Like his other 3 fingers didn't work.
Yeah, he was
The-
Tony Iommi's inspiration.
The guy, the guy was a shredder. Like, and he was from like the 30s and 40s. He could play lightning fast runs, and he could only use 2 fingers. So, you guitar players out there, if you think you can't play fast runs, Django was doing it in the 30s and 40s with 2 fingers. So you can do it with 4. Wow. Practice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, this was the second instrumental track on the album. Of the 2, it's probably my least favorite of the 2. But it's not bad. Acoustic guitar again sound nice, and there's some strings here. But yeah, I didn't have a lot to say about it. It's probably my least favorite on the album. One of my least favorites on the albums, but it's still all right. Still all right.
Me too, but Django Reinhardt is an amazing guitar player. But that's unrelated to the actual song.
Yeah.
Talking more about the inspiration than the actual song.
I actually think this is a really good track. It's one of my favorites on the album. I didn't think I was gonna be alone on that. I actually prefer it over the other instruments. I personally really enjoyed it.
I'm with Bryer. I'm kind of I thought Steph was much better instrumental, and this is probably my least favorite on the album.
Next song on the album, "Races Are Run."
I love how it transitions into this song. It like, and then the song starts. Another amazing Stevie Nicks song on this one. Very good. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one as well. Again, one of the more chiller songs. Definitely one where you just need a vibe with. The percussion was pretty good. The chorus was pretty nice. I like the chorus to it. And Lindsay, again, providing some nice backing vocals. Pretty solid song.
Yeah, I thought this was a really great song. This was one of my favorite on the album. Again, the harmony's so good. The guitar is so good. Yeah, this definitely... Yeah, I'd love to see Fleetwood Mac do some of these songs. They're so good. I mean, like I said, it's like a Fleetwood Mac album somewhat, in some ways to me. It has that sound to it. And yeah, I thought it was a fantastic song.
I think this song's really good. Probably towards the bottom of my list, but I think it's really good. Still a really good song. Next song on the album is Lola. Not the Kinks song.
Not the Kinks.
Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks don't go Lola, la 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 Lola, even though that would have been cool, but it's a completely different song.
I would do the...
I'm more familiar with the Weird Al version. Living in a swamp down in Dago, like a carbonated soda.
I heard that song before. Lola, probably.
But wow. Another really good song, country infused on this one. I actually may like this better than the Kinks song.
Really?
It might be crazy, but I really like this song. It's really good.
I'm not the biggest fan of Lola, so I'm not really upset with that statement.
For me, definitely another one of the more rock oriented songs here. This one's pretty straightforward. I think out of all the if we exclude the instrumentals and just include just the main songs, this is probably my least favorite. It's still pretty solid. It's just that to me, I don't think it stood out as much as the other tracks to my ears. But again, it's not bad. I still enjoyed it for what it is. It's solid.
I agree. I didn't care for the song at all, and I think I like acoustic, more folk style songs, and the more rocking songs I was not a big fan of for some reason on this one. Maybe just because I really loved the other one so much, it made this one I didn't care for as much. So yeah, it's one of my least favorite.
Yeah, I actually strongly disagree. I think this is a great song. I personally really enjoyed it. This just barely didn't make my top 5, but I think the song rocks. I think it's amazing. Last song on the album is Frozen Love.
So this is the song that the engineer took Mick Fleetwood into the other room and said, "You want to hear something I produced?" And he played him the master tape of this song. And now I can see why he wanted Buckingham to be his his new guitar player in Fleetwood Mac, because
Mm-hmm.
the finger picking on this song is amazing. The guitar playing is amazing. This song is epic. Like they okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ruin it, but they saved the best song for last on this album. This song is insanely good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. Yeah, Lindsay's pretty much all over this track. I mean, this is like the perfect song to showcase what he was capable of. And like Scott says, it's no wonder they wanted him in Fleetwood Mac, because his acoustic guitar playing is great in the intro, and then his electric guitar playing shines as well. There's I felt like there was more than one guitar solo on here, and each one was really great. And I love again, this one has a much more different feel to it. I can't really describe the mood they're trying to go for, but it kind of fits with the phrase "frozen love." I don't know why. Just I get that feeling from it. And yeah, it's a great way to close out the album. Definitely a huge highlight for me.
Yeah, it was. I thought sound another really good song on the album. Again, the chorus is really good. Like I really enjoyed the chorus on here, and the two sound so good on this one. Like again, when they sing together, man, that's when it gets really good on the album, and how it gets good probably in Fleetwood Mac as well when they join Fleetwood. It felt like it went on too long though. I would say.
Yeah, it's the longest song on the album.
Yeah, because I remember listening and I was listening. I listened to the whole album when I was at work actually, and I had listened on YouTube. So it was hard for me to figure. I had to kind of just imagine what the transitions were when a new song came on, and because I just had to look. I had to take out my phone and look at YouTube and go, okay, are we on a new song? This was one where I was listening to it, and then I thought, oh, did we switch to a new song? And I looked at, oh, we're on the same song. Okay, what's going on here? And then they kind of came back around to the because there's a long instrumental from what I remember, and then it comes back to the main song part, and I'm like, oh, okay, here's the song. And I thought if they would have cut the song shorter, it probably been my favorite song on the album, but it just went on a little too long. But yeah, a lot of good stuff here. I really liked.
At least it wasn't bluesy, right?
Right. It wasn't boring, but yeah.
That's the recurring joke. Is it's like I think from what I pick up, the two things you probably dislike, them two things you dislike is either is stuff that's bluesy or stuff that goes on too long.
Yeah.
I need to make the Bryer, Nick, Jason, Scott, Jacob guide to inside jokes on our channels. It needs to be like too long, too bluesy, garbage, American Dream.
Someone say Queen?
Did someone say Queen? We've got to have money.
Or ballads or something.
Sucker for ballads.
That's for me.
I'm a sucker for harpsichord. I'm a sucker for Baroque pop songs. I think this is a great song on the album. Definitely one of my favorites. Definitely see the importance of it. Definitely the most important song on the album. So yeah, I love this song. I love the jamming on it with the guitar playing. Just really adds to it. What would everyone's top 5 be?
Number 1 is definitely Frozen Love. Number 2 is Don't Let Me Down Again. Number 3, Crying in the Night. Number 4, Without a Leg to Stand On. And number 5, Long Distance Winter.
All right. So for me, number 5, I have Long Distance Winter. Number 4, Crying in the Night. Number 3, Without a Leg to Stand On. Number 2, Crystal. And number 1.
I forgot.
And number 1, like Scott, Frozen Love.
Okay, so Frozen Love is number 1. Number 2 is Don't Let Me Down Again. Number 3 is Crystal. Number 4 is Crying in the Night. And number 5 is Without a Leg to Stand On. That's my top 5, definitively.
Okay. Number 5 is Frozen Love for me, so I'm not putting that number 1. But number 4, Without a Leg to Stand On. Number 3, Crying in the Night, which I think is pretty similar to you guys. I got it right in the middle there. 2 Crystal, and then 1 I don't think anybody else mentioned, but Races Are Fun. Races Are Run or my.
What's an honorable mention?
Mm-hmm.
Well, me, Bryer, and Scott are gonna have a trifecta.
Okay.
Number 5, Django. Number 4, Crying in the Night. Number 3, Crystal. Number 2, Without a Leg to Stand On. And number 1, Frozen Love.
Mm-hmm.
So, me, Scott, and Bryer have yet another trifecta in our number 1s with Max series. So, we've been agreeing on each other with a lot with the number 1s. Nobody agreed on future games. Air Trees, we all agreed on the number 1, Sentimental Lady.
Oh yeah, that song's amazing.
Funny, late when me and Bryer and me and Adam would usually agree on number 1, then Bryer will throw in a different one. Almost every time, I'm like, you mess up our trifecta every time, Bryer. No.
Well, there was that one time when we were on Scott's channel, we reviewed Oasis, and we had the exact same top 5.
Yeah.
Well, it would probably change now because my favorite song on that album is Now Some Might Say. So.
Oh, okay.
I thought Oasis was I thought that was a good album. It's not an album that I really go back to that much.
I love that album.
I'm just not a fan of that sound. To me, it's just it's too Beatle-y. I don't know.
It's my favorite album of the '90s now.
My favorite album of the '90s is probably Flaming Pie by Paul McCartney.
I was gonna say, yeah, probably.
That album's a masterpiece. What would you guys score this album from 1 through 10?
8.75 out of 10. It's like it's got all these great elements. It's just not quite yet to the 9 because we need the other members. So,
yeah, kind of similar.
A little sneak preview of what I'm going to be ranking some of the next albums.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of similar. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm going 8.5. Again, very good stuff here. Getting the guitar playing, Stevie's vocals and Lindsay's vocals, very great. You definitely hear the seeds of what they would do when they joined Fleetwood Mac. It's just a nice little time capsule on where they were at during that time. So very good stuff. 8.5.
Okay, well, that makes me feel good because I'm giving it 8.5 as well. I was afraid I was going to come in here and you guys were going to give it all 9s and 10s, and be like I still like the album, but I'm not going to give it that far. But so I'm right with you, 8.5, and I thought it was a really solid album. I really love the 2 together. I think, again, that's why I think I like this. I mean, I'll say this: I like this album much better than the first 10 Fleetwood Mac albums. I didn't give anything 8. I didn't give anything above 7 on those first 10 Fleetwood Mac albums when I've been doing my deep dive. And of course, we'll see the next 2 albums I'm giving really high numbers on. So we can say this was the missing ingredient for me for Fleetwood Mac was these 2, because I think this is a really solid album. And then the next 2 Fleetwood Mac albums I think are just absolutely fantastic without going into it. So yeah, I love their sound, love the acoustic guitar playing on this album. Yeah, I think it's definitely one to check out. I wish I could get it on CD or something, but it's almost I hate that. Like Scott said, it's gonna be a forgotten album because of that. Because you can't get on Spotify, you can't get it on CD. So it's like, when am I ever gonna listen to this album again? Probably not. But.
I only saw that album at a record store one time.
Really?
And I didn't buy it.
I saw it at a record store too, but it was $75.
I can't remember how much that was.
Yeah,
it actually was. If I remember correctly, it wasn't that expensive.
Okay.
I don't
if it's
remember.
Like $35 and I see it, I'll buy it. But
Maybe.
I'm not paying over $35 for it.
That's a cool album to get. Now that I know all this information, I'm like, yeah, I definitely would love to get this album if I saw it for the right price.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10, but then I feel like what we're missing right now is Christine McVie and Mick and John. I feel like we're missing the Fleetwood Mac members right now. And once we start getting to Lindsey Buckingham, once we get to the Fleetwood Mac albums, self-titled, then I'm going to start giving them way higher than that. Maybe giving them 10 out of 10 scores. Because I think the next 5 albums are all perfect. I don't think there's any bad songs on any of them. I feel like with Tusk, I feel like Tusk is going to be a very
Tusk is going to be divisive.
It's
Yeah.
going to be divisive, but I feel like besides that episode, I feel like we're all going to agree on that. Thank you guys for watching this video. Jason, welcome for now for the series. It's very exciting. If you want to join us on the end of discography ranking, you could join us on that.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to. But
I could be like Lindsey Buckingham and come back after I leave or something.
Yeah.
You joined halfway through, took a break, and then came back.
Yeah, exactly. Halfway through, then leave.
Yep. And then we get fired again.
They get fired.
Uh-oh.
yeah, that's gonna be fun actually. Like 4 of us ranking 20 albums. It's gonna be a fun episode.
This is kind of like the Fleetwood Mac self-titled of their discography, of this discography. It's like kind of like a second pilot episode to our Fleetwood Mac Lindsey Buckingham journey.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. So long. Let's go Chiefs.